right, welcome to the fourth and final game of the evening. Up this time is Gladiator School. Gladiator School is a deep management simulation game with hand drawn, humorous characters and environments. And it's kind of on the tin. It is a school for gladiators.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and we are talking like gladiators who fight in not necessarily Roman Colosseums. Like, this is more generic fantasy medieval town, but
with
you are still.
weird Minecraft style phases.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But the point is, you're raising gladiators who go and fight in arenas against other gladiators, and maybe I'm not sure if this game has like having you fight animals or monsters, but you train gladiators and gladiators fight and die. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
so this game was given to Twilight Winter, so he will be providing the majority of the review here.
Mm. All right. Well, I didn't see any actual fantasy elements in this game, but you do fight gladiators, and I haven't seen any die, or none of mine have died in my past experiences. But anyway, yeah, as we expected, this is a well, some call it tycoon game. You build up. Your goal is to build up your school, expand it, gain fame, fortune, and whatnot, while managing the wellness of your gladiators and their fame and fortune and whatnot, and so on and forth. But um, to start out, let's see here. Well, first starting out, you of course create your character, your personal character, and pick out a set of different perks for them. Mine, for example, I think you're picking out like from like 5 or 6. I don't remember correctly. One I picked was at the end of, well, not a week. Every 5 days, you um, get an extra 100 gold, and um, to, for your resources and whatnot. Gold is pretty well good, going to be your main everything, pretty much. Um, how you're going to expand your school and whatnot without, yeah, to expand your school, keep your gladiators happy and whatnot. Without that, you can do almost next to squat most of the time if you don't have enough. Um, but yeah, you pick a gladiator from a lineup of like 5, I believe, 5 or 6, and they each have varying stats, and a personal ability, and like for example, some have the ability to cause bleeding on their opponents. Some have like an enhanced dodge ability, I think, and somewhat. They got varying types of skills. Anyway, yeah. So basically, you have to maintain your varying resources of gold, raw meat, cooked meat, wood, and planks. The purpose of the raw meat is so you can generate more cooked meat, and of course, the wood is for generating more planks to build stuff with. And the cooked meat is, of course, for feeding your gladiators each day. And then, in order to acquire more meat and wood, you're going to need gold in order to buy this stuff. Like I said, gold is the most important resource you're going to require. Or yeah, um, yeah. And let's see here. So Of course, you train your gladiators. So you have 3 different stats: health, stamina, and damage. And of course, you train these up. Um, each stat has its own experience that you need to build up. And of course, once you get high enough, as high as you think you need, usually in order to actually start participating in competitions, you need to be at about level 4, and then you go to. Usually, you're going to end up going into the underground competitions first in order to fight gladiators and earn gold. And and with each victory, you have a choice between either boosting one of your 3 stats or gaining extra skill points. Your skill points are put into varying, I guess you would call them techniques, something like that. Let's see here. Yeah, like combat mastery. Well, not combat, weapon mastery, enhanced dodging, blocking, and so on. And each of those have their own cost of skill points. Like the cheapest one is, of course, your weapon mastery, but the highest one will be for your glider's special skill, which once you get enough points, you can actually change that for another special skill. I think they're actually called ultimates, and I can switch those out if you want something different for them they would prefer to have. So yeah, going back to your school, you're of course going to need to well, you're going to start out with just a simple punching bag for the gladiators to build up their damage stat with. But later on, you can, through the cost of planks and gold, you can build additional equipment for them, as well as being able to upgrade that equipment to get more experience out of them. And all the while, as I said before, maintaining their mood. This can be done through upping their salary, which they get paid. I think it's every day, I believe, as well as providing them with wine or cake, which is labeled as reward. and let's see here. Also, they have a fatigue as well, though that only comes into play when you go into competitions and win or lose. Usually, when you win a battle, the glider won't be too fatigued, but you don't want that to get too high as well because it lowers your stats. If you lose, it's going to be much higher than it would have been if you won, obviously.
And I assume this game follows actual general real life gladiator principles of no, we don't like to do gladiator fights to the death because among all the other issues, raising a gladiator is expensive.
I don't know if your gladiator can die, but if they do lose, you do get an injury stat.
Oh yeah, you can get injured. Just like you don't have people like in the stand saying no, like kill the guy if the fight somebody doesn't die, the fight wasn't worth watching.
Never really encountered anything like that, but the crowd in battles do play a part in the battles, though. I guess I can go ahead and go into the battles themselves. The battles are automated. You don't control what happens. It just comes down to your gladiators' stats, and you just hope they can win the fight. It's pretty obvious who's going to win if you go up against somebody stronger than your guy. Most of the time, the only influence you have is before battles. You can prep them with like pep talks, like tell them to do their best. That usually affects their stamina, enhancing it to some degree. Do every like you have to win. I think it affects their their attack or damage and defense. I never actually used that myself, but I assume that's going to affect their health. Have play being defensive, and you can also give them a strategy of go on the offensive to sacrifice their defense. A balanced strategy of um, attack and defend, and then there's of course defensive strategy, which of course they'll go on the defensive end. The crowd itself affects it affected their effect on the battle is they can affect your gladiator's damage output. If you get to if you're the if your gladiator gets the crowd on their side, it'll enhance their damage output. But if the crowd gets on your opponent's side, then it'll affect theirs. That's about the extent of it. You can, and the more people in the crowd, the better that is. You can promote your gladiator to get more people there, and it seems to. This also affects the competition's ticket sales as well. I never really did see any effect from that. Like, anytime you're doing a competition, the pay is the same. About all that really changes is that Gladiator may gain more fans, which is good because you want more people on your side for those battles. And there really isn't too much more to say about those. There are other battles that are kind of you're a gladiator against a team of people. Well, you're a school against a team of other gladiators. That's where it's pretty much a competition of who can hit harder, pretty much. Like in the battles, this team has a damage output of so much, and your team has a damage output of so much, and of course, whoever has the higher damage output is going to win. But of course, that's depending on how many people you have in your group. Your school can have up to about, let's see here, about 12 gladiators at once. No, you'll probably most of the time only have maybe 3 or 4, depending on how much money you make, of course. Let's see now, other things. Of course, like I said before, you can expand your school, creating this. You can make your school bigger, of course. You can also create facilities to make your school more self-efficient, which was actually quite nice to be able to do. Like you can every 5 days you that facility can generate more meat and wood for you to use instead of having to buy most of it. Other things is you can build a beast pen for chariot races, which you'll only be able to do later on, since you need a whole lot of gold, and you need to either buy a beast, which is and from what I've seen, I've only seen tigers, elephants, horses, bears, and of course you can train those to participate in chariot races. You train up their stamina and speed, of course, and of course, like gladiator competitions, you want to gain fans for for those races, and make as much gold as possible. Um, and let's see here. Yeah, I thought the chariot races were actually a pretty neat addition to this. I would participate in one so far myself. Well, anyway, let's see here. What else is there? There are also quests you can take when later on you gain access to the tavern. You can talk to people there to do quests for them. These quests are basically, you do this in a competition. Well, you get into special competitions for these quests where your gladiator must defeat like so many people, or defeat this gladiator, are usually stronger than most gladiators. There's also bandit raids. Those are kind of a nuisance. Don't think they can turn those off. If you don't want them to happen, they're they usually demand that you give them so much gold, and choose to fight them if you wish. Early on, you don't want to do that because they're like the group competitions. You're going to lose pretty badly early on, so it's better just give them the gold and then having your gladiator get injured.
What kind of bandit attacks a school full of gladiators? Not a very smart one, usually.
Pretty bold bandits.
Yes.
Honestly.
And yes, I know fighting professionally for show is different than fighting off bandits.
Of course. Yeah. Let's see now. What else is there to talk about before I move on? Yeah, I'm not really. I can't think of much else. You do have your personal character has a set of special actions they can do. Starting out with 2, and eventually you'll raise up to 3 as you progress. This is for stuff like research. Research helps you gain access to other facilities, like the tavern. The support buildings, which is the stuff that will places that will allow you to become more self-efficient. And among other things, like recruitment camps, even though you can go to the marketplace and acquire more gladiators from there. And applying to the league is a best way to describe it is sort of like a marathon of battles you can put your gladiators through. The further along they go, the more you benefit from it. more gold and rewards and whatnot. Yeah, something I almost forgot to mention. You do get rewards from battles as well. They range from various items that I never really got any use out of, as well as, a, for example, a beast that you can use for chariot racing. That's how I got my first one. Usually those require 2,000 gold. But yeah,
Do you have to like feed them too, or?
Yeah, you have to feed them as well. Yeah, you have to take care of them just like your gladiators.
It's like a V pet.
Kinda, yeah. At least they don't poop. But anyway, yeah, in terms of the gameplay, yeah, it is surprising depth as you progress um, throughout the game. Yeah, you can enhance your school's economy and such, and yeah, deceptively simplistic at first. When you first start the game, and as you go along, yeah, it gets a little more complicated, more complex as you play through it. And I'm not the biggest fan of tycoon games myself, but I did enjoy what I did play this game. Um, Moving on to the graphics. Yeah, yeah, it's obviously looking at it here, kind of cartoonish. I'm not saying that's bad. Actually works for this game's style. Yeah, cartoonish and somewhat I was going to say simplistic, but I'm not sure. Simplistic in the animations, at least. The characters most of the time just kind of float around when they move about. And that in itself is not a bad thing either. Um, yeah, not exactly for me at least, not exactly the kind of art style I like, but everybody's different. At the end of the day, graphics and art is pretty much a personal preference. So you can just decide for yourself here, what you like about it or not like about it. The music, um, um, how to, honestly, I'm struggling to remember it. I do remember that while managing your school, it's usually fairly calm, but spend so much time there at the beginning. I'm also remembering to remember the music and battles. They are somewhat exciting. It's all in the MIDI-ish, I want to say. It's a kind of music here. It does fit the game. I'm sorry, this when it comes to this kind of music, I really can't say too much about it. Once again, music is a personal preference. Yeah, I've never really been one to judge those sort of things, except for my personal taste. For anybody else, I just gotta say, judge it for yourself. Now, now in terms of pricing, just a second here.
Pricing is $10.
$10. Yeah. I say yeah, $10 is actually a good price for this game. You can get a lot out of it if you're a fan of management tycoon games. And if you're looking for a Gladiator one and not expecting realism from it, or not looking for realism, yeah, I'd say this is actually yeah, this will be for you. Yeah, this it's actually surprisingly in depth. And I haven't quite seen everything myself, so there's more to it than what I said. But yeah, it's a good game. Though from what I've seen, it's no longer being well. I don't know if it's still being supported or not. I looked in the forums. But anyway, I didn't run into any actual personal quorums with the game, so all I can say is, if this is what you want, yeah, you get it, or wait for a sale. It's very cheap when it goes on sale. So yeah, that's it for me.
All right then. So, and yeah, that's it for the session as well. So the week ahead, coming up on Wednesday, we will be having Russell Quinn of False Vacuum Games on the program. So this is a bit of an interesting one because, we will be showcasing the Linda and Joan adventure game series. That is to say that he recently put out the prologue to the main quest, the main story, or Linda and Joan prologue 4 months earlier, which is a free standalone experience and part 1 of the Linda and Joan story. This is a 15-20 minute experience, read walking simulator. And the main course, as it were, is coming in 2022. So yeah, what is available now is is a slice of the Linda and Joan story, and we will be talking about that on Wednesday. And yeah, it's free. It's been out for a couple of weeks now. So, and it doesn't take long to complete. Granted, I have yet to do that, but that's been in anticipation of this. There were other things to play and all that. No Friday show this week. So until Wednesday, I shall wish you good gaming.
Mm-hmm.